Glad to just make clear that there is no connection between me and the World Economic Forum.
That's what she says, but I'm going to let you be the judge of that today. Today, we're looking into Tulsi Gabbard and her connection or complete disconnection with the World Economic Forum. So in these clips that I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to be showing you some tweets, and then I'm actually going to be showing you some clips about how she found out about her association with the World Economic Forum. So she says, and making it clear that she has zero connection to the WEF, what she thinks of the WEF and what they have planned and are doing in the world, and what she would do if she was asked to speak at the World Economic Forum, and also her thoughts on populism. Let's get into it. Coach Colin here, coolest high performance coach in the world. You know the deal. If you want the best takes to the podcasts and videos you love, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this. So, what made me want to actually look into Tulsi Gabbard? Well, I was on Twitter, and all of a sudden I saw this tweet from her, and I was like, I like the sound of this tweet. You know, she sounds like me a little bit. So here's the tweet. It actually says, the cashless society espoused by the WEF elite is a society of surveillance where every transaction is tracked, monitored, and controlled by a few powerful entities that have the ability to freeze your accounts. We must stand up for our financial autonomy and the right to privacy. And when I heard that, I was like, I like this lady, you know? And then I started looking into her a little bit. And then there was something that was like her and having a World Economic Forum connection. And that didn't make much sense to me, because I was just like, you know, you can't tweet something like this and be connected to the World Economic Forum, can you? So I started looking into her, and I found this. Now, here is how she's actually speaking about the fact, like how she became, quote unquote, connected to the WEF and just everything around that circumstance. Real quick. Here it is.
Something about the World Economic Forum. Did you interview somebody recently or say something about that recently?
Yeah, no, it's something that I've been seeing pop up a little bit on social media. People who, so basically, what happened was early, I don't know, maybe in the first or second year that I served in Congress, I found out that my picture and name had been placed on the World Economic Forum's website under this category they have listed as young global leaders. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, they have different people of different political parties and from around the world that are on this website. I was never asked to join, and I was never informed by them that they had put my name and picture on their website. And I honestly didn't know that much about it. But people have said, oh, well, what did you learn by graduating from Klaus Schwab's Young Global Leaders Academy or all this stuff? And it's just, it's unfortunate that there's a lot of, I don't know, false assumptions being made, I guess. It's an organization, I've never gone to any of their shenanigans. That's a good word. I've never gone to any of their events. I didn't graduate from any, I've literally not had anything to do with the World Economic Forum. And the reason why people are concerned about this is actually very important. And I'm glad to just make clear that there is no connection between me and the World Economic Forum.
Here's why, for me, this is a little hard to believe. Now, if I'm part of the World Economic Forum and I'm the person who's putting people's pictures and descriptions on websites, especially for the young global leaders, I'm at least going to check this person out. I'm at least going to make sure that their politics align with ours. At least have somebody who's a member have a meeting with her, make sure she's on board with Agenda 2030, make sure she likes the taste of crickets. I mean, if she doesn't like bugs, she can't be on the website. That's it. Okay? And but seriously, you would check her out to a certain extent. You wouldn't just put her picture up there. Based on what? So in my mind, there had to be some kind of meeting that happened that maybe she's not acknowledging because she knows that's not good as she's starting to run right now. Because that video that I just played for you, it's a few months old. So it was around the time where she knew that she was running, right, in the 2024 election. So I don't know, a little hard to believe. But then on the other side of that, there's more tweets. there's more tweets. She made a tweet again. Here they are. So this is in 2022. So it's like the narrative that she's saying right now in her first tweet, which was just 2 days ago, it's still in line with what she was saying a few years ago, or I should say a year ago, right? So she says, as we struggle to afford food and fuel, the elite gather at Davos, the World Economic Forum, to discuss how we should be allowed to live our lives. Their totalitarian dream of a so-called Great Reset, where people own nothing and are tracked and monitored with every step, must be condemned by all of us. So it's like, and it's very in line with the first tweet that I read you, right? Makes sense. And there's another tweet here. The Global Pandemic Treaty, espoused by the WEF, Biden admin, and the WHO, is a despicable, thinly veiled attempt to override our Constitution / sovereignty. If enacted, who could dictate U.S. policy and track our every move via universal digital IDs? We must not let them usurp our freedom. So, and 100% right. Just to put that out there. I know I'm kind of picking her apart to see if she's real or not, but like that is 100% true. 100% true. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know as much as I should about the Global Pandemic Treaty, but I do know what's in store for us as they keep on inching towards their 2030 agenda. And this is all part of it. Those digital IDs, everything. And it's so crazy. I just want to add that if you and I just say this out loud at work, we're conspiracy theorists. But at the same time, it's like an actual person who's in politics, a highly regarded person, highly respected, I'm sure highly hated as well by certain people, but pretty respected person is saying these exact same things. So by all means, you're at work, somebody doesn't believe you, somebody gives you the fluoride stare when you say something like this, pull this up and be like, look, she said it. But let's move on.
The World Economic Forum is essentially pushing this, and Klaus Schwab and Glenn Beck wrote a whole book about this for those who want more information. But basically, they're pushing this super globalist agenda where you have corporate powers of like the most wealthy of the wealthy attempting to create whatever they want to call it, some new world order, set the rules for the world that supersede and undermine the sovereignty of countries, undermining our democracy, essentially. And that's really what is so dangerous. And their intent, of course, they claim to know what is best for us more than we know ourselves. And why wouldn't they, these multi-billionaires? But the danger of it is exactly that they are trying to set the rules for the world and build some kind of utopian future in their own mind, but undermining our voices and our sovereignty as a country. I think that's the best way I can put it in a nutshell. So I have been very outspoken about a lot of these different issues over the years. So for anyone who questions what my record is, look at my record and you'll see how I have been talking about and warning against the very things that these people are pushing.
So now you can't deny it. Now I know she's a politician, but hearing somebody in government talk like that, it feels good. It feels hopeful. It does. At least for me, it does. But the thing about it is, it's like, here's what it makes me think. She is a politician. She knows that she's running, super aware when she's on camera, super aware of every word that she's saying. Now, you could say that she's just placating to a base of people, that she's just trying to pander, right? She's doing the whole Hillary Clinton pulling out the hot sauce when she's trying to placate the black people.
No more questions? They said no, she has to go.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen,
yes.
I just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people again.
Okay. Is it working?
Here's the thing. It's like she could be pandering, but when you hear stuff like this, just as a regular person, a cashless society. Let's just stop right there. Espoused by the WEF elite. Stop right there. Now, I already talked about this a little bit, but as soon as you say that to most people, they're like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking. Are you talking about credit cards? What are you talking about? They don't know. So when my mind goes to pandering, I'm like, who is she pandering to? It's a small, it's millions of people, but it's not hundreds of millions of people who all know about this cashless society. I talk about this stuff all the time with people, and they have no idea, especially people who are like over 40 years old. It's so rare for somebody who's over 40, over 50 to be like, yeah, that cashless society. They have no clue about any of this stuff. So when I hear this, it's like, as much as I want to think, because she's a politician, that she's just trying to pander to a certain base of people, this kind of talk X's her out of most people's minds as a presidential elect, as a government official to be trusted at all. When she starts talking like this, regular people don't like to hear this talk because it makes them have to think too much. I don't want to sit there and act like I'm calling them sheeple or anything like that. I'm not doing that. But it is a lot to think about. And it is a lot to consider. And it is a lot of responsibility, because now you have to navigate a certain way. You have to look at who is in line with that type of thinking and who's not. There's a lot to it, and a lot of people would just rather just like chill. I just want to chill. I just want to come home. I just want to watch the TV. I don't want to pick apart the ads that I'm seeing. I don't want to think about the indoctrination that the kids are going through. I just want them to be gone for 10 hours and then come back home and just make dinner and just go to sleep. That's all I want, That's a lot of people in the world. A lot of people in America. They just want that. Now, what we're going to hear next is if she was asked to speak at the World Economic Forum, would she do it? What do you think? I'm about to show the clip. Yes or no? You think she would do it? Yes or no? Yes or no? All right, let's see.
Saying that, if I were ever, and I haven't been, but if I were invited to go to Davos is their big forum that they put on. I think it's every year. If I were invited to go speak there, I would go and speak the same kind of truth to them as I speak to anyone else, because I think it's important that no matter that we not just live within our own echo chambers, but we actually go out and vigorously engage in this marketplace of ideas that we're talking about here.
So what do you think of that answer? I would love to know in the comments. So what do you think of that? Do you want your politicians, your government officials, do you want them to be Davos free, or do you want them to be like, Davos light, like they dabble in Davos? Would you rather that? I honestly don't know. I think the mark of a good politician, a good government official, is one that never gets invited to Davos. I think going forward in the world, that's what we have to look out for. At least that's what I'm going to do. If you haven't been invited, there's a reason that you haven't been invited. And that means like we're so, because who never gets invited to Davos? The people, the populace, the general population, you and I, regular people, we never get invited. So if that government official, that politician, if they never get invited either, well then that means the WEF views them kind of like they view us, which means that we probably have somewhat of a common ground. Now that's an assumption, but I think that's a good marker of of political success in 2023, 2024. Now, as you can see here, I have the definition of the word populism. Now, it's not because I want to teach you all sorts of things. It's because I had no idea what that meant. Okay, don't kill me in the comments. All right. There's things I don't know, okay? I'm telling you, I was a high-performance coach before I started posting information like this. I only do this because I feel like there's a responsibility to let people know these things as I learn them. That's it. I can teach you about mindset, too. I can teach you about the law of attraction. Not the law of attraction, but, cool stuff like that. Now, let's get into populism. What is it? It's a political approach that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel their concerns have been disregarded by the established elite groups. Makes sense? Let's use it in a sentence. The government came to power on a wave of populism. You're fucking right, they did. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So that's populism. So now we're going to hear Tulsi talk about populism. Now, again, I'm only playing this because it's like, she seems like she is a very good person. And from these tweets, I got to say, she seems like somebody that I would very much like to see in some kind of position of power. But I don't know all her politics, so I won't say for sure. But just this alone makes me very hopeful for the kind of person she would be if she was in any kind of office. So let's hear her talk about populism. Let's hear her views on it.
Here, you talk about populism. I remember I had a meeting with somebody in my office in Congress one day where they were shaking their heads and like so concerned about, well, what do we do about the rise of populism in America and around the world? This is just, this is of a great concern. And I said, why? Why is this of great concern? Because the people are rising up and saying, hey, you know what? We're sick and tired of you guys living in your ivory towers, you politicians, you elite, you CEOs of multinational corporations, making decisions that benefit yourselves, but come at the cost of the lives of everyday people, everyday Americans and people around the world. And that's really what's at the heart of it. And so when you look at the people who are wringing their hands over, like, what do we do about the rise of populism? They are, the equivalents of the elite that the first, people who came and fled, England and other countries in Europe came to this country to escape from. And that's
Right.
it again, it's just so telling. Like, you look at who's concerned about populism. They're the people who believe that we the people exist to serve the well-being and the thriving of these multinational corporations, rather than we the people existing and living, just trying to live our lives. And that the world should
Productively,
not
yes.
revolve, the policies should not revolve around what is best for corporations, but they really believe what's best for corporations is actually best for the people, when
Wow.
no, not the case.
So that's it. She's positioning herself as a woman of the people. And I do say positioning because I'm never going to forget that she's a politician. This is not somebody who we're having a beer with. This is not your friend that you're shooting the shit with. This is a politician. This is a politician who wants to be in a position of power. And like we've always seen throughout time, they say anything they can in order to get into those positions of power. So I'll say she's positioning herself. But I will say, as I see it all, it does seem kind of believable, right? I'm not even sure. Let me switch the screen here. So I'm not sure. What do you guys think? In the comment section, let me know, what do you guys think of Tulsi? What has she done? Because I'm focusing on the WEF side of things, because, that's where I tend to focus when I make my videos. What do you guys think? What have you heard? What's the bad side of her? Or what's the even better side of her that I didn't see? Let me know. How do you guys like her as a politician? Does she seem believable? And don't just go with the mindset that no politician's believable. Let's live in a fairy tale land where there's some politicians that are believable, right? Let's live there for a second, and then we can step back into the real world. But what do you guys think of her? Honestly, in the comment section, let me know. Again, we're almost at 31,000 subscribers. There's 94.9 of you that are not subscribed when you watch these videos. If you found any value in this, please hit that subscribe button. If you've already hit the subscribe button, thank you so much. We're coming out with new shows. I'm coming out with researchers. I am building this thing up. I'm going to have, at least in the next 3 to 6 months, I'm going to have 3 new shows on here. I'm bringing you guys as much value as I can. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, come along for the ride. And if you are, again, thank you so much, and I'm out.